Could be a run out.
Should be a run out of the bowler's end. He's a run out of the bowler's end. That is simply magnificent.
What a catch! Their first wicket in the ECL, and what a way to take.
Well, good evening, everybody, wherever you are around the world. It's fantastic to have your company on a Thursday night for European Cricket Studio Live, and we hope you've had a great week so far. It's been a big week in European cricket already. We've got some actual news, and guess what? Some actual cricket coming your way a bit sooner than you might think as well. So it's great to be here with you. We've got a big show lined up. We've got the COO of Czech Cricket coming on and talking about the big announcement, which you might have seen today on ecn.cricket. We've also got another Cricksplain. We've got a great highlights video to go through, and also you'll get the chance to go one-on-one with me again. So I'm going to put this up now. If you would like to be involved in the show tonight, it's really simple. All you need to do is go to that link there. It's tiny.cc/EC Studio. And you get the chance to come on the show a bit later if you'd like to. You can ask me a question. I ask you a question back. It can be about cricket. It doesn't have to be about cricket. It's just a little thing we like to do to keep engaged with you guys. And it certainly has been great to have some guests going one-on-one with me already. So it doesn't matter where you are in the world. It doesn't matter if it's your first time tuning into the show or if you're a regular viewer. It doesn't matter what you want to talk about, but I'd love to go one-on-one with you a bit later in the show. Now, it has been a big week in European cricket, and we had an announcement today about a new tournament which is going to be premiering in just a few weeks. But to keep in touch and up to date with everything European cricket, then you have to download our app. If you have an iPhone or an Android phone, you can get it in the App Store or you can get it in Google Play. All you have to do is search for European Cricket Network and you'll get all the latest news stories, live scores, and details about how you can watch the games, which will be coming to you shortly. So if you haven't, make sure you check out our brand new app, European Cricket Network, in the Google Play Store or the App Store. So as ecn.cricket exclusively revealed earlier in the day, there is some cricket coming, and it's coming in only a few weeks, and it's coming from Czechia. In the Czech Republic is going to be hosting a new tournament called the Czech Super Series. It's going to run over 5 weekends, and to tell us a bit more about it, we've got the COO of Czech Cricket, Terry O'Connor, who's going to join us on the show all the way from Prague. Welcome, Terry. Welcome to the European Cricket Studio.
Cheers. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's certainly wonderful news about the new ECN Czech Super Series, which is going to be coming very shortly. But before we get onto that, why don't you tell us a little bit about what's going on with cricket in Czechia and what's been happening lately?
Well, cricket in Czech Republic is growing, rapidly growing. Back in 2015, for example, we had a league of 6 teams, with one of those actually being Dresden from Germany. We only actually had 5 clubs, all based in Prague. And now in 2020, we have 16 teams, which is phenomenal growth. We have just under 300 adult players, and we have 400 juniors playing week in, week out. And almost all of those juniors are Czech children who have been completely and utterly introduced to the game here in the Czech Republic through the programs that our development partner, Cricket Academy, does with in schools, introducing thousands of kids to the game. And we are now very, very privileged to be in a situation where we're able to return to playing far quicker than the rest of the world. And we've got a great opportunity to be able to have lots of cricket for all of our members to play.
Yeah, that's really exciting. And we were speaking earlier about the growth in Czech cricket over the last even couple of seasons. So I know that there's 16 teams that are going to be involved in this new tournament. Is that a number which has been growing over the last couple of years?
Yeah, absolutely. As I was saying, just back in 2015, we only had 5 teams, only based in Prague, whereas now these 16 teams come from 4 different regions all around the country. Still, Prague dominates with the teams and the player base, but we've got 4 of the teams coming from Southern Moravia, in and around the city of Brno, and we have a team that's making their league debut this season. The Budějovice Barracudas Cricket Club, which comes
great name.
Comes from the southern Bohemian city of České Budějovice, which is famous for its Budweiser beer. And it's, like I said, we've got thousands of kids being introduced to the game all the time through school programs, and hundreds of Czech kids playing week in, week out.
Well, that's exactly what we want to hear, and exactly what European cricket's all about. And now the fact that we can tie it together and we can watch Czech cricket from not only Europe, but all around the world, and it's going to be broadcast on the European Cricket Network. It's certainly very exciting. But before we get into the details of the tournament, I wanted to talk a little about the Czech national team.
Mm-hmm. We're very, very proud of our Czech national team. They've done amazing things recently. You can see a bunch of the lads there with just a couple of trophies that they've managed to pick up. We're currently ranked 54th in the world in T20Is, and we have a number of world records to the team name, and multiple holders individually throughout the squad, and which is incredible when just a couple of years ago, we weren't playing any ICC tournaments. We were one of the many associate countries which were excluded. We had played tournaments back in previously. Our last one was in 2011, but like many countries, we're back into that aspect of things, and we've come back into it and made a real stamp on the T20I world scene, and the players and coaching and managerial staff of our national team believe that it is just a matter of going further and further upwards in the ladder. They don't think 54th is enough. They are looking to break the top 50 and continue to go on from there. Not sure if Vinny's with me now. He's just bringing up scorecard from national team's performance in Romania last year at the Continental Cup. We set many world records in this match, equaling the biggest total, biggest margin by runs, biggest margin of victory by runs.
It was an incredible game, as you say. Pardon me for dropping out for a second, but as you say, 278 for 4 off 20 overs, led by Wickramasinghe there with 104 not out off only 36 balls with 10 sixes. It's a huge score, and then it's never going to be easy chasing a score like that, and you've got to feel for Turkey. So they were bowled out for only 21. So as you say, it's also not only the highest score, but the highest margin of victory. And I know you've played a bit of cricket yourself, Terry, but how do you feel about coming out at, I think it's 7 for 5 when you're chasing 279 to win off 20 overs? What's your strategy there?
To be honest, I'd be thinking, well, I can't do any worse than everyone who's come before me. So it's, I've got to try to, bizarrely, for a T20 match, you're sort of thinking, well, I've got to get myself played in. I've got to stick around. Maybe just getting on the front foot and getting the forward defensive out for a couple of balls.
Yeah, well, you've got to be a bit selfish and try and at least have a bit of a go. And you didn't have too much to beat, as you said. I think there were 8 ducks out of the 11. So, but it's great to see Turkey playing. It's great to see full T20 international status being given to all or almost all countries now that have this organised program. And it gives you the ability to to compete against teams at your level and climb those rankings. And obviously that's something that you're looking to do over the next few years. Now, Terry, I do want to talk about this new league, which was announced today by Dan Weston on ECN.cricket. It's called the ECN Czech Super Series.
The ECN Czech Super Series, yes, that's correct. We're calling it Super Series because it's essentially a series of 4 groups of 4, with the winner of each of the 4 tournaments going through to a final series. So 5 weekends of action in total, 40 matches, and every single match will be live streamed here on ECN, and with the excellent setup with multi-cameras, instant replays, multiple commentators, and the full graphics and online scoring provided.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, isn't it? And the fact that these 16 teams, and we'll look into the structure in just a couple of minutes, but the fact you've got 16 teams, like you say, is great. The 3 venues look fantastic. We've got some photos of those venues as well. The fact we'll have 5 weekends of T10 action. I assume they're going to be pretty small boundaries, Terry. Are we going to see plenty of Maximos?
I think you're guaranteed to be seeing the rope cleared constantly with good regularity. We have a lot of big hitters spread out amongst the squads in the different teams, and but I think you're also seeing wickets tumbling because when you've got that big reward on offer, you're taking a big risk every time you go for it.
Yeah, definitely. Action-packed, I think, is what we'd call it.
Indeed.
So just delving a little bit further into what this tournament's all about. We've got the 4 weekends of action, as you can see here. So these 4 weekends, and they are sometimes in different places as well, Terry. We've got Group 1, which is the teams there, the Prague Barbarians, Viscos, the United CC, Bohemian CC, and the PCC Kings in Group 1. And that's going to be in Vinor, the Vinor ground in Prague. Then Group 2, which is the next weekend, we've got the PCC Knights, the Vinorati Blancos, the Vinorati Rossos, and the Prague Spartans Vanguards. And then we've got Group 3 and Group 4. There's got 16 teams, and the structure is really cool as well, with these 14 basic playoffs, and the winner of that weekend makes it all the way to the championship weekend on Saturday, July 11 and Sunday, July 12 at the Vinor grounds. So who should we be looking out for here amongst these 16 teams?
Well, there's many teams with many stars, especially from our Czech national team. In Group 1, you've got Sudesh Wickramaseka, who has the equal fastest T20I 100 shared with David Miller and Rohit Sharma. He plays for the PCC Kings. Mm-hmm. But he'll be coming up head-to-head with one of his national teammates from Bohemian Cricket Club, Honey Gori, who is the highest run scorer for the Czech national team and the highest wicket taker.
It's not a bad double.
when those 2 teams face each other on the first day, it should be a very interesting tussle. In Group 2, the Vinorati Rossos feature quite a number of Czech national team players, including the Czech national team captain, Ed Knowles. And the Prague Spartan Vanguards are a relatively new club. They only started playing league matches last year, and they've already picked up a number of pieces of silverware in their very short life. They won a 40-over league Division 2 last year, and they won the indoor league this year, defeating the PCC Kings, removing them from the top spot. In Group 3, we've got the 40-over Division 1 champions from 2019, the PCC Rooks, and the Prague Spartan Vandals, who That's actually incorrect. That should be Prague Barbarian Vandals, which is my old club and features a number of Czech national team players, including a guy called Sandhu Darvizi, who is the only player in T20I history to score a century and take 4 wickets in one match.
Wow.
He surpassed Glenn Maxwell, who had scored a century and got 3 wickets in one match.
Right.
He's definitely a young all-rounder to look out for. And in Group 4, we're going to see really tight derby matches with the 3 Brno teams and Moravian Cricket Club. The Rangers and Raiders will not be leaving anything on the field when they go head-to-head, looking for bragging rights for the city of Brno. That will be a really interesting match there. We've got the Czech national team wicketkeeper and a brilliant spin bowler, Navid Khan, who I believe will be playing for the Brno Rangers.
Well, that's a really good insight, actually, from you, Terry, and you know probably as much about Czech cricket as anybody. And these grounds, as we say, there's 3 different grounds will be used, and we've got some pictures that we've kindly got hold of here where the action's going to be played. Tell us a little bit about these grounds. Are these recent grounds? I think the Prague ground may have been around for a little while in Vinor, but tell us a little bit about where the games are going to be played.
Yeah, Vinoš ground, just on the outer edges of Prague, has been going since 2012. We actually operate 2 fields at the ground. We'll just be using the one for this ECN Czech Super Series. But it is, like I said, it's on the outskirts, and it's surrounded by a golf course. It's in a lovely little village called Vinoš. And it's quite picturesque, especially when the grass is nice and green. The pitch is going to be a little bit of a unknown factor for a lot of the players, because we've actually just laid a new pitch. But in the past, the bounce was a bit difficult to judge. We're expecting a bit more bounce this year and it to be a little bit more consistent. So if anyone starts putting in some chin music, can hope to get onto their hook and pull shots nice and early, or they could be in trouble.
And I have to ask you, I was looking at some old pictures, and they were a couple of years old now. It might have been the Brno ground. It had like a clay pitch. Is that right? They had. Talk me through. Is that still the case there, or is it more of a traditional artificial pitch there now? And how does clay work as a cricket pitch?
It's clay works where basically the tide is completely turned to the bowler's favour, unlike most of the pitches we see running around in cricket these days. Trust me, I played there when it was clay and wickets were just tumbling. But unfortunately, it's no longer clay. Brno laid some concrete there last year, and there is a artificial wicket on top of it, so it will be quite bouncy. It's actually a former baseball ground, which is part of the reason why there was the clay. It's a beautiful, picturesque ground. A lot of people, it's kind of reminiscent of a more village, like an English village ground. Lots of trees around, and
looks beautiful.
A little low down, so it doesn't really get much of a breeze across it, so you won't be getting any assistance from that. But yeah, it's a very nice, very, very nice ground. And talking of village grounds, the Velváry ground really is a village. It's a small town village that's about 25 kilometers from Prague to the northwest, and it's the home field these days of the Vinohrady Cricket Club. You can see the aerial shot there, and Velváry's been going for 4 years. I think 2020 might be its 5th season. And this ground was built basically single-handedly by a man called Scott Page, who unfortunately passed away very recently. He's a very integral member of the Czech cricket community, been involved for almost 25 years in every capacity you can think of. He basically built that entire ground with his own two hands and a bit of assistance from Andy, his dog.
Right.
And like I said, it's situated in a small village, and it's got two lovely long straight boundaries and two very short square boundaries.
Right.
So anyone who likes to sweep or cut could be in for some big runs, but you're going to really have to put your back into it to get the big hoik over the bowler's head.
Well, that's some good inside info again. And geez, we're really looking forward to seeing the uniqueness of some of these grounds, and they look really picturesque. I can't wait to see them on the European Cricket Network. Now, Terry, I just wanted to kind of go into the format a little bit more. And as we explained, there's 16 teams in this tournament, and they're broken up into 4 groups of 4. So I'll just explain that every weekend, starting on Saturday, the 13th of June. So the first weekend will be Saturday, the 13th of June and Sunday, the 14th of June. We'll have 4 teams playing in a round-robin format. So there's 8 matches in a weekend, and these 4 teams will play each other once, and that will be the first 6 games, the round-robin tournament. So each team will play 3 games. They'll play against the other 3 members of their group. Now, then there's 2 finals matches for these weekends, and that is the 7th match, which will be an eliminator, and that is whoever finished second on the table against who finished third on the table. And then in the 8th and final match of the weekend, we'll find out who will qualify for the finals portion of this Super Series, and that will be whoever came top of the table in the 14 round robin against the winner of that second versus third playoff. So every week in weeks 1 to 4, we will have one qualifier who will go through to week 5, which is the championship weekend, the finals weekend. And the great thing about the finals weekend, it's just the same format as above, with the 4 qualifiers that have made it all the way to that final weekend playing each other. Then there'll be an eliminator, second versus third. There'll be a grand final, a championship match of whoever finishes top of that group versus the winner of the second versus third game. So what do you think of this format, Terry? I think it looks pretty exciting to me, and obviously you'd probably agree with me.
Well, I would, seems as I came up with it.
Well, then you've got a very biased opinion, but I do agree with you.
I actually came up with it last year while I was watching the ECL. I was actually in Zagreb in Croatia when the ECL was on last year, and basically 2 games into the ECL, I went, we've got to have a T10 tournament, a T10 league of some type next year. Like, we've got to do this. This is awesome. And basically over the next couple of days while watching the ECL, I was trying to figure out, I already knew that we were going to have at least 14 teams will be participating in our T20 league for 2020. And there was 2 possible teams. So I thought, well, even if they can't do T20, hopefully they'd be able to do a T10. So how can I get the 16 teams in, and how can I make it as regionally based? And this is what I came up with. But originally we were going to have this at the end of our season before coronavirus came in. It would be a T20 league first, then our 40 over league, and then the T10 league.
Right.
But once we knew that our season was going to be cut down, the T10 was the first to go because it hadn't actually been done before. And then the 40 over league was gone. But thankfully, we came to a situation where it became possible that we could do a T10 league at the start of the season. And in conversation with Dan, we were trying to work out a number of different ways. And then I sort of said, well, actually, I've got this thing that I was going to do and I had to scrap. And as soon as I presented to him, he was just like, yes, that's it.
Sometimes it's like that. Sometimes genius is like that, Terry. you can't dispute it. I think it's so innovative and so clever and so practical, really, to get teams. Obviously, sometimes people have jobs, they have other things. So to have that one weekend that everyone's going to be available for, and hopefully they'll be lucky enough and skillful enough to make it through to the final week. So it's definitely a huge incentive. I'm sure that the players will be motivated by the thought of it being carried live all around the world, and they can watch themselves on the stream, and they can see the graphics and the scoreboards and all the best shots. And I'm sure some of them will edit highlights packages from themselves, just leaving out the other bits. But it must be really exciting to have the support of the European Cricket Network covering all the action.
Absolutely. No, we're all of Czech cricket is a buzz about this. To go from a situation of just a month ago, a bit over a month ago, with uncertainty of if there'll actually be any matches, any type of cricket happening, to being able to have not one but two domestic leagues, and to have this ECN Czech Super Series streamed live and available for anyone and everyone to watch all around the world is just incredible. And trust me, the players in Czech cricket like to put on a show. They are all going to be doing their darndest to grab the camera's attention and grab the spotlight to let everyone know what they can do and what they're about.
That's what we like to hear. We like to see a good show put on, and T10, what an explosive format. It sounds like, especially with some of the firepower that we saw from your Czech national T20 team, the fact that some of those players will be on show, it's really going to be epic viewing. And there's not a lot going on in the sports world, so it'll probably get all this extra attention as well, I'm sure, because it's only just over 3 weeks away that we're going to start the first weekend of action. So it's been great to get a bit of an idea about the grounds and the inside of the team. That's been invaluable. Now, is there any chance, Terry, we might see you in the commentators box in this Czech Super Series?
You will, yes. I will be one of the people who will be commentating a lot of the matches. So people will have to put up with my voice a bit more.
I do free coaching anyway, Terry, whether you like it or not. So you can be sure. Now I've got your number. I'd love to give you my feedback. But yeah, Terry, I think you'll do a great job. It's a fantastic.
I won't be stealing your signature Maximo line.
It's okay. It's €6 a go. €6 a go. You can have as many as you like.
I'm a qualified umpire, so I understand that 6 runs is not the maximum you can score from a.
Well, that is true. That is true. I've actually hit a 7, but it's generally the maximum. Let's not, it's sometimes you can do better than the best. You can get 7 or more off a ball, but it is pretty rare. Speaking of better than the best, I think it's been a great 5-week tournament. The fact it runs over that period, we'll really get to know the players and the format, and we look forward to seeing the winners come back in the 5th week for the finals. So and we've got a comment here, actually a question from Mark Lovell, who he actually, good on you, Mark. He's always good for a good comment. He wants to know, what is Maximo in Czech? How would you say maximum in Czech? How is your Czech? Pretty good, I assume.
Mluvím česky jenom trochu. For maximal, it depends really on the context of the situation. So really, to express the situation of hitting a 6, it would be, most Czechs would just be exclaiming something like "super" or "výborný," rather than reverting to maximum, because it would sound weird in Czech using it in that context.
Sometimes it does. Sounds weird when I say it, apparently, as well. But we've got Chris Pearce, who I know is doing a lot of great things as well. It's great to see you on the broadcast. And leave your comments. This is a great discussion we're having tonight about cricket moving forward in Europe, and particularly in Czechia. So just that final graphic I'm going to put up there so everyone catches it. It is the Czech Super Series Well, it's going to be live on the European Cricket Network and also Fan Code. It begins on Saturday, the 13th of June. It runs for 5 weekends, concluding on Sunday, the 12th of July. It's going to be a fantastic spectacle, and I certainly can't wait. Sorry, I lost you for a second there, Terry, but I wanted to ask you for one more favour, because you've been a fantastic guest on the show tonight. Now, every week we do a quiz on ecn.cricket, which is the European Cricket website, and I need you to do something for me. We do a segment called Random Household Object. And so what I need you as my guest to do, as my principal guest tonight, I'd like you to wander away from your screen for a second and find something random for me. The more random, the better. And come back and show it to our viewers. And that will be one of the questions in the quiz this week. You've got a chance to win some fantastic cricket shoes from Painter. So will you do that for me, Terry?
Absolutely, sure.
Oh, excellent. And just while we do that, I'm just going to remind everybody as well that you can be on this broadcast tonight, do a one-on-one with Mr. Maximo. That's you watching right now. All you have to do is go to that link there. It's tiny.cc/EC Studio, and you can ask me a question. I'll ask you a question back. You get to have your face on the screen and be part of the European Cricket Studio show tonight. Now, Terry, you haven't moved. Have you got something within your arm's reach, have you? Are you organised?
Absolutely. I know, I didn't have to do anything because I thought I've got the most ideal thing actually sitting right in front of me, right in front of my computer.
Okay.
When you said random, I thought, well, this is going to be really random because I saw the show last week where Brian pulled out his KP biography.
He did. He pulled out his KP. Brian, naughty boy.
Indeed. So I thought I'd mix it up and not go cricket. And one of the things I have on my desk in front of me is my vintage original R2-D2
wow
action figure from 1977 that I can't remember if I got it for Christmas 77 or my birthday 78. My birthday's in January. So
it's showing your age now, but appreciate it.
It's close enough that it was either December 77 or January 78. He's pretty scuffed up. He's showing the years in age. I don't know if the light's a bit too harsh on him.
It's amazing the way it is handling the light. Yeah. Well, that is something very special, Terry, and I love the story behind it. So it's the R2-D2 vintage figurine. Is it antique? Is it old enough to be antique? I'd just say the R2-D2 figurine, 1977 edition. Are we happy with that?
It's over 40 years old, so yeah.
Well, thanks very much for sharing that with us, Terry.
Absolutely.
It looks sensational. Well, look, we look forward to seeing you being part of the ECN Czech Super Series starting on June 13, and obviously hearing you behind the microphone. I'll look forward to watching it from down here in Australia, and I'm sure people will be watching in Europe and all around the world on ECN.cricket, also Fan Code, and they'll be trying to sort out their Dream 11 teams and get the inside info. So we'll be listening to you and with all your expert tips, obviously knowing all the players there in Czechia. But for Terry, it's been great to have you on the show, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Thanks a lot, Vinny. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. That was Terry O'Connor, everybody, who is the COO of Czech Cricket, and it was really great to have him on the show and telling us all about that exciting new tournament, which is going to be going on and starting in only 3 weeks' time. Can you believe that? 3 weeks to cricket? Could be even sooner. There's exciting things happening in European cricket as the restrictions get lifted slowly and we're able to safely run cricket, perhaps with a couple of modifications, as we spoke to Brian Mantle about last week, such as no saliva on the ball, which seems like quite an obvious one. We also saw during the week, I saw an article saying that, saliva is no good, but sweat's okay. So I don't know about these cricket balls. I feel like I'll be wanting to wear gloves. Well, luckily as a wicketkeeper, I get to. But if everyone's putting their sweat all over the ball on purpose, it's a little bit gross. And really, when you think about it, it is a bit gross when we use saliva anyway. It's not many other walks of life where you, lick an apple and throw it to your friend at lunch there. But it's going to be great to have some cricket back, and only 3 weeks. So now we've got a couple more segments coming up. Don't forget, very shortly, you can be on the show. All you have to do is go to this link, tiny.cc/EC Studio, to come on the show with me if anyone would like to. This is your opportunity to give your thoughts on the Czech tournament or anything else or anything cricket, or just to say hello and let us know where you are watching around the world. Now we're going to do our Crick-splain segment. Now this was very popular last week, and Crick-splain is where I take a cricket term and I explain it to you. So if you have played cricket for a while, or if you haven't, then even if you have, you might not know exactly how these things work. So this Crick-splain today, I'm going to talk about the power play. So in the power play, it sounds cool. Like, number one, it's a cool sounding expression. Like, it sounds like we're just talking about Star Wars, like a power play. Like, you think, like, you know, it's going to be all action. And that's really basically, I think, why it's named that way, because the power play is the time in a limited overs cricket match. So a T10 or a T20 or a 50 over match. And typically at the highest level, there's always a power play. In amateur leagues, sometimes there is, sometimes there isn't. But when the power play is in effect, only 2 fielders are allowed in the outfield when the bowler bowls the ball. So that's why we have that kind of dotted line, or sometimes it's a circle, or sometimes there's discs. The 30-yard circle, we call that, even though it's technically an oval, but that's another story. So that 30-yard circle, inside it is considered the infield, and outside it is considered the outfield. So a while ago, this rule was brought in, and it's meant to encourage more aggressive batting early in the innings. So in the early days of limited overs cricket, batsmen were often quite conservative in the first few overs because they didn't want to give their wicket away. They were worried, well, if I get out, that might put pressure on the other batsmen. If we get bowled out before our overs are up, then that's not going to be a good situation. So often batsmen were quite defensive in the beginning with limited overs cricket. So this rule was started, I think it was in the 80s sometime, to encourage big hitting in the first few overs of the game, and to encourage batsmen to take risks, which of course means better spectating for all of us watching the game. So if there's only 2 fielders allowed outside the circle, so 2 outfielders, generally as a batsman, if you're opening the batting, you know where they are. So it just gives you more margin for error. So if you're trying to hit a 6, trying to hit a big shot, if there's someone back on the boundary and you slightly mishit that shot, then he can catch you. But if you're trying to just making sure that you get the ball over the infield, then you still might not hit it perfectly, but as long as you get enough on it to carry that infielder, then often that ball will run away for 4 or 6 if you get it well. So the power play was brought in, like I say, probably 30, 35 years ago now, and encouraging batsmen to be aggressive. And we saw teams like Sri Lanka really take advantage of this in the mid-90s, and they won a World Cup off the back of some very explosive openers. So again, it's just something which has been brought into the game in the modern era to increase entertainment value, and don't we love to be entertained? Now, you probably don't need too much encouragement to be aggressive in T10 cricket, but we still have those rules. The first 3 overs in T10 are a power play, so only 2 outfielders are allowed in those 3 overs. After that, you're allowed up to 5 outfielders. And T20, it's just double. So in the first 6 overs of a T20, it's a power play. And after that, then up to, depending on the rules, normally it's 5 are allowed out. Now, in a 50-over game, this has changed plenty of times over the last 20 years, depending on the tournament and the playing condition. It's been experimented with because a lot of people find the middle overs of a 50-over game a little bit boring because the batsmen are happy to take one and the fielding team are happy to give them one. So it's a bit, can get a bit monotonous. At the moment, I think the current rules in one-day internationals or 50-over cricket is a power play for 10 overs where only 2 fielders are allowed out. And then 4 fielders are allowed in the outfield from overs 11 to 40. And then 5 fielders are allowed out from overs 41 to 50. So you can imagine if you didn't have the circle there, or if you didn't have any of these restrictions, then captains could just put everybody on the boundary. probably including the wicketkeeper if they wanted. If they really were determined to stop boundaries, that would really cover a lot of ground. Obviously, it's hard to stop sixes if they go over you. But the circle is brought in as a device to provide a mechanism for playing conditions to exist that can encourage positive play and positive batting. And the great news is, if batsmen are being aggressive, it also gives the bowler and the fielding team extra chances to get them out. So that's exactly what we want to see. We want to see a good contest between bat and ball, and we want to see good action-packed cricket. So that was the power play, which was our explanation for tonight. And I hope that was clear to everybody. Now, last week we did a highlights video, and it was on unusual dismissals and focusing on hit wicket, and there were quite a few good ones. This week, I've decided to go, I took the feedback of a viewer, I've decided to go drop catches, all right? Because we saw a few go down in last year's European Cricket League and probably in the Dream 11 European Cricket Series in Spain recently as well. And I'm sure we will see more. But you think, oh, maybe these are amateur players and that's why they drop catches. And you know, that is true. But I want to just show that there's also very professional cricketers that drop catches. So that's why I've got I found a video on this, and we hope you enjoy it. And just have a look at some of these, because there are some that you probably will find hard to believe.
Shane Roy made I know this is one of your favourite.
Roy, I might just have to catch one
right,
here, buddy.
Get ready there, Fred.
So this first one, this is Jade Dernbach, I think, from England. And it's straight down his throat and down it goes. And then he's just come all the way out. He's on the away team there. And Brendan McCullum, not the kind of guy you want to drop either. And the Brisbane Heat fans give him heat. But he's a bowler. It's not his fault.
Oh, hardly got a fingertip on it.
He's not paid to field. And Liz Hurley, of course, going out with Shane Warne at the time. So
not happy.
He probably hasn't seen anything that farcical since Austin Powers. And then this is Jade again later in the game. Oh no, he's done it again. How did he do that? And he takes it back and the ball still beats him to the boundary. Look at this one. He doesn't even touch it. Maybe got a fingertip on it. And I tell you what, that is when you just want to dig a hole and crawl inside it. He's run in too far. He's just lost it. Falls over. That's comical. I think it was his first game for the team as well. Now here's South Africa versus England. Andre Nel, the bowler. Vernon Philander. Down it goes. That looks like Graham Swan. Cannot believe it. Vernon can't believe it. And Andre Nel, he looks like he's ready to rip someone's head off. He is your stereotypical angry fast bowler. He's probably tried all day to get a wicket, and then he's drawn the false shot out of Swan. He's early through the shot, and then down it goes. Oh, I love this one. Watch this one. It's Devon Malcolm, Steve Waugh. Down goes at first slip. What happened here? They're getting runs. How are they getting runs when the ball went to first slip? Well, it is a very, very interesting replay. It's bad enough you drop a catch. Steve Waugh is a big wicket as well.
Perfect edge, straight to first.
And he's so frustrated about it. So what does he do?
And then
you'll see in a second.
A bit of insult.
Devon. Good bowler for England for many years, raw pace. So what does he do? He boots it.
There's 2 runs.
And there it goes. He picks a gap and it runs away on the fast outfield. And the batsmen get 2.
Disaster.
This is outrageous. Look at this. You could do this if you tried. He's absolutely put that one through for a goal. And if you were unhappy as the bowler, you'd be even more unhappy. Now look at this one. This is popped to short leg. They just look at the umpire to give it out, but hold on. What's happened? Looks like a straightforward chance just popping up to the short leg fieldsman.
Daniel Flynn has a life. He survives. Ball comes back in.
You see here. Now you can only get caught if there's some bat in it, and you do see it comes off the bat, flicks the pad, pops up to that close infielder. Oh, he might have had, I don't know if his helmet's fogged up, or look at that. He's had 2, 3, 4, 5 goes at that. Unbelievable. You won't get an easier catch. I think you'd see toddlers catching those. The ball has no idea what's going on.
And
Here's another one straight to mid-on, straight in, straight out.
Oh my goodness!
So it just shows you guys, even the highest level,
That's a gimme. That's a 6-inch putt to win
players
the
make
Masters.
mistakes. These are
It's a lob
fairly straightforward
and a
catches.
smash to win Wimbledon.
Got a feel for the bowlers. Here's another one.
And another one goes down.
Just straight through the hands of the slip and running away for
In fact,
4.
I don't even think second slip bowled.
And I think there've been a couple in a row that showed Malik of Pakistan.
And that's it. In fact, funny enough, it's showing Malik.
He's,
it's 2 and 2 balls. How
Not
about
particularly
that?
happy.
Go on.
Look at this. He kind of thinks about it, but it's probably freezing. I don't know where this is in New Zealand, but it can be
And it's
quite
got to
cold.
that
You can
point,
see the long
really,
sleeve
where
jumpers are out there.
You'll see
And the
ball go up in the
Pakistanis
air
just
and
saying,
they'll all turn away.
nah, that ball looks a bit hard for me.
I think
Might
Shoaib
let the
Malik
fence
is
do the fielding.
in different world. I mean, he's thinking something else. I mean, look at this. This is
Just
the
guided there,
2 and 2 ball.
straight
He didn't even
between the
try.
slip fielders. Oh, this is a pretty good one as well. It's like straight up, can't be dropped, is dropped.
And he's going to get run out.
And just what can you do? Oh, but you know what? It's all right because he's run out because he didn't run.
And then he goes, oh, he's going to catch
So
it.
he's
Oh,
just
no, he's dropped it. Oh, now I'm running out. That's village.
Dropped a catch,
Can you
but then
believe
another fielder's alertly picked up the ball and run out Shane Watson. Now this one is an absolute soda. This is a very recent one.
And Joe
This
Denley
is Joe Denley actually from England against New Zealand, and it's just popped to him. Oh, this is Adam Gilchrist now. He doesn't give you too many chances. This is definitely an easy catch, and down it goes.
I cannot believe it.
I think Alan Mullally, the bowler, took that reasonably well. Adam Holyoake didn't touch it. You can't drop what you don't touch. This is MS Dhoni batting now. And this is Morne Mortals runs straight under it. He says he lost in the lights, and this is one of the things as a fielder. You need to have your excuses lined up if you do drop a catch. So always blaming on the sun is a good idea. But the good thing is when you're playing at night, you can always blame it on the lights, and it's hard to disprove. So you see this one here. Morkel hasn't really seen it. He's just run. He's a tall man. He's about 4 meters tall. But he still saw that one sail over his head.
He looks at Smith. That's gone in the light, Skip. Please
Poor
let me
Morne.
off.
Oh, this is good. I remember watching this one as a kid. This is a tight game, easy catch. Steve Waugh. And the commentary says, no way he'll drop this, is what Tony Gregg said when that was in the end. Alan Porter using the sort of language which we can't repeat here on the broadcast. But that one is straight up, and Steve was such a safe pair of hands. Off his own bowling too. It's a really tight game. And I thought this is game over. And then down it goes. He would catch that one 999 times out of 1,000, would Steve Waugh. Now, I hadn't seen this one before, but this one's really quite amazing. This is Mike Gadding. We had Mike's nephew Joe on the show a couple of weeks ago. This has just popped up, and now he's doing a bit of sand in the eye excuse. Just and then a bit of the sun as well, because it's probably an unbelievable drop. Watch this one. Pops up, watch out, and down it goes. Oh, Mike. Oh, he's provided a few highlights in his career. This is one from county cricket, and this is the bowler. Yeah, I'll take it. I've got it. He doesn't really want it. I'll take it anyway. Oh, no. Down it goes. And who can you blame when you're the bowler? And that's the end of the over. He'll have time to go think about that one. Oh, this is quite an easy keeper catch. He's got the gloves and drops it. How can you drop it when you've got the gloves?
Well, that's in the air.
This is another one from the 90s. Michael Bevan, right in front of the crowd. Down it goes. That one was still reasonably simple, but I think when the ball's coming from that distance, I wouldn't put that in the very, very simple category.
And particularly over the head.
It's back in the old days when the fence was the boundary. Those were the good days.
And then
when you had to slide into the fence to stop a four. There's none of this rope. In Australia, at least. Now, this is the last one. This is my favourite, actually. This is Nathan Horrocks. Dale saying the batsman. Up it goes. It's high. Who's under it? Mike Hussey. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Oh! Nowhere near him. This is a genuine loss in the sun. He's got the sunglasses on too. But, oh, how disappointing. And this is when a bit of a partnership was going together. He can't believe it.
He seriously panicked there. He obviously lost it in the sun.
You see this one going up in the air, and he looks, one hand goes up, the other hand goes up. He's panicking. He doesn't know where to go, left, right. the dance moves.
Dear.
In the end,
And then he tried the
it's
other
just
hand.
2 runs. So those were some of the more entertaining drop catches, and it just shows you that drop catches are a part of cricket, and doesn't matter if you're Mike Hussey, who's one of the best fielders to play the game. Anything can happen, and it's magnified when it's in front of so many people. Oh, we do have one more, actually. Oh, this is a famous one. This is 99 World Cup, Steve Waugh. Trying to win the game for Australia, straight to Herschel Gibbs, and he drops it.
He was throwing it up.
And this is when they tried to say that Steve Waugh said, you dropped the World Cup, although I'm not sure how accurate that was back then. You see this one. Now Herschel seems to catch this one, but then
he's about to throw it up.
Down it goes. He tries to throw it away.
Would almost make a case that he
you see Mark Lovell saying that Gat would have never dropped it if it was a sandwich. So we hope you enjoyed the video. Hansi Cronje, the late great Hansi Cronje.
You're trying to throw it up.
Just
attempting to dispose of it.
probably not thrilled about that one. And ultimately, Australia would knock South Africa out of the World Cup and go on to win in England in 1999. So there were some drop catches. We see some comments here. We've got Rico Full, who is a fantastic commentator of ECS in Spain, saying, loving the drop catches, makes us all look good. I think so. It just shows you everyone's human. And Mark Lovell, yes, Gat would have never dropped it if it was a sandwich. And that actually takes me to another area I want to go, which is some of the cheekiest sledges that I've ever heard about or heard myself or done myself. So if you have any good cheeky sledges, you can get in touch with us. Just message us at European Cricket, and we're going to put together a bit of a compilation of those in good humour, of course. So we hope you've enjoyed our segments tonight of Crick-splaining and, of course, the drop catches. Don't forget, if you'd like to join me, we've got a few minutes left in the show. Just go to tiny.cc/EC Studio, and that is exactly what this gentleman has done. He's coming, I think, from Germany, does a lot of good work for us, and he's joining us for a one-on-one tonight. Please welcome Mr. Yannick Bischoff. Hello, Yannick. How are you this week?
Hey, good evening, Vinny. I'm good. How are you?
Did you like those drop catches?
I actually didn't see them because I was in your green room. But
okay.
I've seen many on the field, and so yeah.
There's been a few good ones, haven't there?
Like, yeah. Well, that actually leads me to my question for you. What was your worst drop catch in your cricket career?
Oh, this is a good one. This is a good one. I was going to say the one of the most heartbreaking ones I saw ever before I come to mine. Was, and this is coming on the comments, this is Aaron Kumar, the Cluj captain, saying nothing could be more heartbreaking than Vasu Saini dropping a catch off Pavel Florin's bowling. And I was on the call at the time, and that was heartbreaking, wasn't it? We would have loved to see Big Pav get a wicket. We know that he's taken international cricket wickets, of course.
He has, yeah.
But my, you know what? As a wicketkeeper, I think I remember missed stumpings more than catches. Because especially if they're really easy. But I do remember there was one. I guess it's good that I can't remember too many I dropped. I guess I guess that is
that is good. Good, yeah, that's very good.
That is something. But I do remember on debut actually off when I was playing my first grade debut. I think I was standing a little bit too close and didn't have time to react, and I kind of just. There was a healthy edge and I didn't hold on to it. And you just feel like everyone's looking at you, like when you're the new wicketkeeper in the team at that point, and you always feel like everyone's thinking they could do it better than you can do. So it takes a bit of experience and gaining a bit of credibility as a player to then not have that feeling and not worry about mistakes too much if you make them. So I think that one on debut was pretty difficult. There's a few. Again, as a keeper, these aren't really drops, but there's a few that I think I should have gone for, but maybe I didn't go for because I was worried maybe it's going to the slip fielder there. So, so there's been times that I kind of regretted and maybe the first, not going for it, and the first that kind of thought you might go for it. And again, these are things which get better as experience, as you gain experience.
And then you end up looking at each other saying, "Hey, that was your catch, wasn't it?"
Yeah, and then they look at you and say, "You've got the gloves." But the absolute that's not the worst thing that can happen. The worst thing that can happen, and I've seen this happen, particularly in warm-ups, but I don't think I've done it, but is when the keeper kind of half goes for those catches that are in between, and they just deflect the ball into the first slip. He's got no chance to react, and it can hit him in the face or hit him in the body, and that's probably the worst thing, because it's one thing to drop a catch, it's another thing to, basically try and kill one of your teammates accidentally. Sure. All right, Yannick. Well, that was a good question. I appreciate that. How about yourself? What is your? Let's just say, what's your most embarrassing moment on the cricket field?
I never had an embarrassing moment. No, actually. One of the most embarrassing moments was I think in last season's German cricket league, when it was the 1st of May. I can actually remember that was a public holiday.
Of course it is. Yeah,
public holiday here in Germany, and we were playing down here in my home city, and had a couple of friends come over to watch the game, and I was super pumped. I walked out to the crease, took middle stump. The ball was pitched right on off stump, and I just left it, and I got bowled first ball, golden duck.
Oh, no way! And oh dear!
And I had all my mates have a go at me afterwards. So that was cricket. Not bad, Yannick. You did a great job. So that was one of the most embarrassing moments.
Oh, it's a split
of recent time. Yeah.
It's a split-second game, isn't it, when it comes down to it, cricket? And we've actually seen quite a few terrible leaves. That might be another segment we can do for a watch party together, is some terrible leaves, because there have been some really, really bad ones. But thanks for answering, and thanks for being part of the 1-on-1. If anyone would like to, again, on our shows next week, all you have to do is go to that link, tiny.cc/EC Studio. Yannick, it's been a pleasure, and I'll see you again. Thanks for watching the show.
Before you kick me off, I love your shirt, Vinny.
Thank you. You got the cricket bat and ball shirt. There you go.
Love that.
So it's fantastic to have you on again, Yannick, and have a fantastic week, and we'll catch you soon.
You too, Vinny. Take care. Bye-bye.
So, Yannick, our guest on 1-on-1 tonight, and we've seen some comments here. Daniel Weston, there are only 2 leaves. I mean, it's a good one and a bad one. A good one doesn't hit the stumps, and a bad one does. That's a famous cricket expression. We also had Aaron Chandrasekhar and Kumar saying Scott's drop of Lara might be the costliest, because Lara did go on to make 501, a world record first-class score. And recently we did see them get together and recreate that moment when in Australia on a show that Pavel Florin was in, as he was playing cricket in Australia too. So thanks for those comments. It's really great to get this feedback from everyone. This show's about you and interacting, and we certainly are looking forward to seeing some cricket shortly. So that almost is our time tonight. Don't forget, we have a brand new app, European Cricket Network. Search for it on the App Store, the Apple App Store, or the Google Play Store. Download it on your phone. It has all the latest news. It has details about watching the games and everything that's going on in European cricket. So make sure you download that app. It's new. It's a fantastic thing to have on your phone, so you can keep your finger on the pulse of European cricket. As far as the games coming up, we've got the ways to watch, of course, ecn.cricket. Also, you can watch these games on Fancode, which is a great aggregator of live sports content. And also all the games, you can play Dream 11, which is a really exciting way to get involved in European cricket, or any sort of cricket, and various other sports as well. So thanks to our partners at Dream 11, they're supporters of the European Cricket Series, and we hope that we see a Dream 11 cricket series very shortly. Now, before I go, we did have the random household object, so let's not forget about that. So I need to tell you about the quiz. Now, the quiz, it opens tomorrow morning. It opens at 6 a.m. on Friday, which is tomorrow morning, and it's open all the way till 6 p.m. Sunday. It's super easy. All you need to do is answer 6 simple questions. All the answers are on ecn.cricket or on the shows during the week. So tonight, we did get the random household object from Terry O'Connor. If you're not sure what that is, if you just joined the broadcast, make sure you go back to a little earlier and see what Terry pulled out as his random household object. So that is ecn.cricket opening tomorrow morning. You can win a fantastic pair of cricket shoes thanks to Painter, and they're great supporters of European cricket too. So coming up, we've got This Is McCann, Monday, 9 o'clock, Central European Cricket Time. European Cricket Time, Central European Time, although it is almost Central European Cricket Time here. Coming up, that fantastic Czech Super Series T10 tournament starting on the 13th of June, which is only in 3 weeks. We're hopeful we might even get some cricket sooner. And wouldn't we love to see a Dream 11 European Cricket Series as soon as possible, as soon as safe to do so. But for now, from everyone at the European Cricket Studio, it's been fantastic to have your company wherever you're watching around the world. This is Vinny Sandhu. But for now, keep hitting them high and handsome. Good night.